Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. We're here with another episode of the Rings of Power. This time around, episode 4. Last time on the Rings of Power, there was a lot of information given to us in the last episode, and a name that was mentioned that I did not initially pick up on, but I rewatched the episode because there was just so much information. And of course, we were introduced to Isildur, who, if I remember correctly, from the films, was a friend of Elrond's, who gave in to temptation and did not, destroy the ring. So which means we have quite a bit of ground to cover as far as Isildur befriending Elrond. But it could mean that they've met before. I suppose there was this scene in the last episode where in the um, place of lore or something like that. It's basically a library, um, where there was a painting of Elrond and his brother, and which suggests that he's been to the island before. Back when the Numenor and the elves actually had a good relationship. And I suppose perhaps it's more likely that. I guess it depends on how old the Numenor live to be. I do know, again, they are the race of men that do have a longer lifespan, but not as much as, nothing compared to the elves. But it could be that, Elrond is familiar with Isildur's father or something to that effect. But yeah, we definitely have a bit of ground to cover as far as Isildur meeting Elrond and becoming acquainted with Elrond, and then how their relationship actually ends up becoming as strong as it was. Yeah, Galadriel, I will say, I mean, I said it in the last episode. I think she needed to be knocked down a peg because she's still very much on that high horse, and and I sympathize with her and the loss and that she's grieving. But she's going about this the wrong way. You kind of barge into someone's kingdom and just start making demands, and while I've seen a lot of people be critical of her, I think it's done in a way to show it's not just something that's specific to Galadriel. It's the elves in general. Because we did see Elrond kind of do the same thing in a different way, but he sort of put that relationship that he had with Durin in rearview mirror for the most part, and then expected to walk back in and be welcomed with open arms. So it is something that the elves themselves, do, where I suppose it's in part due to their lifespan, but at the same time, even the Numenor who have long lives, they still don't have the greatest relationship with them. And I spoke about this, I think, back in episode 1, where the elves, in most fantasy, the elves are portrayed as this other, and somehow elevated beings above men and everyone else, and I'm curious to know whether they'll tackle that, and kind of bring them down to earth a bit, and perhaps that that's what the role that Morgoth and Sauron plays in this. In the grand scheme of things, yes, they have a very long lifespan, but that in itself doesn't make them uh above humans or any of the or dwarves or the Numenor in any way. They're just as flawed as all these other races, so I'm curious to see whether they'll address that. Certainly with Galadriel they must, because I think she has quite a bit of growth that needs to take place. At the moment she's consumed by the vengeance and uh, essentially just trying to convince everyone else. And I think it was Halbrand that pointed it out to her on when they were still stranded at sea. Is that if you have a thirst for vengeance, that's fine, but don't dress it up as heroism, because you're not doing this to save the kingdom. You're not doing this to eradicate evil. You're doing it purely for vengeance. And perhaps at some point she will get to a stage where it is about something greater than just her own personal desires. And we're along for the journey to see her get from point A to point B, and that's why the character is still very interesting to me, because if there's no room for characters to grow, then why would I be watching this or any series or film for that matter? You know, we have to see that character make that transformation, and that's why I'm still very much intrigued by her character. Arondir, unfortunately, lost his commander and his friend, their attempt to escape from the orcs. Yeah, and I think they're taking him to meet Adar, who we didn't get a good look at him, but I think we can speculate at this point that he is in fact an elf. But yeah, so that is interesting, and I'm curious to see how that goes. We didn't spend a whole lot of time with the Harfoots, but we are now on the road. I'm not sure where to. If we're no, they're migrating, yes, but I thought we were going to be helping the stranger find that the constellation where whatever direction he needs to go in. I don't think that aligns with the migration, so I'm not sure what we're doing. Is he helping them to a certain point and then he goes off and does his own thing? I think that's what it will eventually happen, and Nori will have to make a choice between staying with her family and choosing to help the stranger who she believes is very special. And I've got to say, Poppy is the MVP of this entire series so far. And in some ways, you've got to feel that Nori hasn't been the best friend, because her attention is all the way over here, while her friend is grieving the loss of her entire family essentially. And watching Poppy pull her own cart all by her lonesome in the last episode, I'm like, if she can do this, why are you guys struggling? And she's all alone, and I'm like, Poppy, they don't deserve you, okay? They don't. But I absolutely love Poppy and Nori and their adventure, and I'm very curious to see where that story goes, what the stranger's identity is. Very much a mystery, but I'm here for it. All right, guys. Before we get started, just take a minute to hit that like and subscribe button if you want to help the channel out. But episode 4 of the Rings of Power, let's check it out.
What name have you chosen?
All right, so we're starting with the Queen Regent blessing the children and their mothers.
May Numenor's strength arise in me.
She's still very much a mystery to us. Is that what it is? I don't think that's what it is. See, something about her ears just always being hidden. I get the feeling she's part elf. Oh, that's some beautiful imagery. Whoa. No, this can't be happening. This has to be a dream, right? Just like that? No. Or perhaps this is the prophecy that she's feared. Just not clear how an elf visiting would cause this. Yeah, definitely. So this is what she's been fearing all this time. Attacked. Doing a lot of heavy lifting there. But, descent has started. But, I mean, you guys live in a virtual paradise. Speaking for what? What do you want? What do you need to speak for, man? You have a perfect life here, free from war, hunger. What's his problem? It's a bit amazing. It just goes to show that, even people who lived in privilege their entire life will find some way to be the victim in a situation. Oh, it's his son, okay. I'm not sure I trust this advisor as yet, but he's smart, keeping his ears to the ground with the locals, understanding, what their needs are. It's a good position to take, but a dangerous one for whoever is in power, though. I'm not sure if he's with the Queen Regent or not.
And if the elf were here now, what would she see? Men of Numenor? Or a gaggle of mewling children?
You are behaving like children. I mean, he's good. Managed to calm the storm.
My friends, trust in me.
Huh.
For by the calluses on my
He said trust
hand,
in me. He didn't
I
say trust in the queen
elven
or
elves
the crown.
never
He said trust in me. I don't know if I should trust him. I want to. I don't know if I should. That's all it takes. One word to get them riled up and just drinks to calm them down. Men. He's got the people's ears. Did he pay the guy to start that up? It could be that, you know, he just said, okay, get these people riled up so I can come in and look good.
But the lost heir in exile to the throne of the Southlands.
And I suppose Elendil here is a runic emperor.
Petty lord, actually.
You don't get to speak. You took her there. But why are they going to get involved in this?
Was once your people's heir,
By your word?
as much as mine. I call on you to finish the task left undone. To reforge the alliance between Numenor and
I don't see any reasonable leader agreeing to this. Because she has no evidence of any of this. That's the problem. And she's asking this queen to take her people to war on her
I
word.
dare say yours is the most surprising and ambitious I've heard in weeks. Nevertheless, Numenor has chosen another path.
I can't blame her. I agree with her.
Then I have little choice but to ask for another.
One with Numenor's
Are you going to belittle her power here? Oh, God, no.
What authority do you speak, Elf? That of your
She's
people?
failing on so many levels. I can't. It's hard to
Trust me for a
watch.
handhold in a temple.
You know, you're questioning her. You're questioning her authority, Elf. Galadriel. Yep. Okay. Yeah, that's a reasonable response.
Don't tell me. Tavern brawl.
sedition.
Deserved. Well deserved. That's nearly a few more days. It's being called to Middle Earth. Uh-oh. Nope. Not good. It is your fault.
I've seen you ease that Hellion proper 100 times. That was deliberate. You're off the Sea Guard!
Yeah, he's trying to...
All three of
What?
you!
Why them? But Isildur is trying to sabotage himself. You know, that much is clear. He wanted to take time off. Dad didn't agree, and he decided to just sabotage the entire thing. But why are they being punished?
Leave it to you to get kicked out of something you never earned in the first place. No. Since I was big enough to hold it all.
I mean, I know
I
his
wanted
dad, Isildur's dad, pushed him into it, but I think he still
What
earned
have you
it.
ever done but brood and blubber about your dead
That-
mother?
That's going too far. But I get it.
Same old seal walking away.
I get their anger. I mean, if he wanted to fail, he could have just not followed his dad's orders and just not go, you know, and why he kind of got them involved. Oh, okay. That's not something you want to wake up to. Alright, so let's have a look at you, Hadar. This one seems pleased with himself. Yeah, he's an elf. Scarred one. I don't think he's Sauron, though. I definitely don't think he's Sauron. What's this? Actually, showing remorse. They actually mourn each other. That's something. Yeah, put him out of his misery. But he takes no joy in it. This is interesting. He's not some brutal leader seems to genuinely care for them. So I do wonder now, were they all elves before? I'm not sure what the lore exactly is, because I mean, I know it's been mentioned a few times that, or at least speculated that the orcs were elves who turned dark. But then also in the films we did see orcs being made, so made from the earth. So I'm not sure what the true lore is. Oh, this ugly thing is still alive. Or, well, could be another one. Yeah, probably a different orc. He did spear the other one.
Told many lies. Some
I do know this actor.
Even the rocks and roots now believe them.
Okay. You're insane. Not yet.
To the men who have taken refuge in the old watchtower,
Letting him go.
deliver to them a message.
I mean, I suppose the watchtower is better than nothing, but there are no elves here because they were all taken, and they're not coming back. Also, they're from different villages.
That is the rest.
How are they gonna feed all these people?
We'll have to cut rations again.
You're not cutting my ration.
I mean, you came here, man. Didn't have to.
It's Blackwall Jigs root cellar. We send a small party into town by day when the orcs are fewer. Grab what we can, quick and quiet.
You're not going down there.
You guys go. What are you doing there, standing around?
Gather the hunters.
I choose to make it harder, Mom. He's gonna go anyway. We know that. I still got it.
Don't be such a soft belly.
Don't let your friends talk you into this crap with insults, alright? Soft belly? Yeah, my belly's soft. You know what? It's gonna be soft and alive back there. Yeah. I mean, I think he'll be fine. He has a sword, he has plot armor, but I think he's gonna get his friend killed. Although, this is the same friend that called Arondir Knife Ears, right? He can go. I'm out of there. I'm not waiting for him. You guys can make a second trip or something, you know? Don't need to get everything. This is what he stayed for? A bag of grain? Nope, that's it. I'm gone. I'm gone. It's now overcast. Get going. They're not getting me. Always getting sliced up. It's this one from the camp. He has a specific design to it. I knew it. That is what they were looking for. Why would you do that? You had to stab yourself with this sword? Oh, they found it. Yeah, that's what they're looking for, and this kid is going to lead them right back to the tower. Uh-oh. Make a sound. Oh, god damn. I hate this whole orc, but his design is really cool. Oh, yeah. Okay, okay. Just hold your breath. Slowly. No one heard that? Wow. they've made a lot of progress. How long has it been? They've moved really rather quickly. Oh, Durin. What's the problem? Oh. Well, I mean, so what if he's hiding something? It's his secret to hide. Like,
Putting me off.
these elves feel like they're so, you know, I don't know, they're entitled. Very entitled.
There is none other than you, milady.
I know. Who'd have him?
I love Disa. Okay, she's definitely making an excuse.
You know, Disa.
But I get it. Like, you just came back after 20 years. You have no right to be probing people for secrets.
It's a recipe for strong gravy.
Quick on her feet.
I am making mold
Smart.
because it needs
Still,
to be
she's
hidden.
clearly still hiding something, but very good.
Was there anything else you wanted to ask about, dearie?
Very good, Disa.
No.
But Elrond, I mean, you're in no position to be prying in their business, though. You know.
Not bad.
I just hope he believes me. He's not easily taken in, that elf.
Certainly not. We're making good progress in the old.
What's in new minds, I wonder. Ah, good eyesight, and he can read lips. We know this. Yeah. Yep.
No.
These guys are hilarious. I hope they pop in throughout each episode, or whenever we're here. With their beard armor. But Elrond, you've just barely saved your friendship. I don't get what you hope to obtain by doing this. Oh, hidden passage.
Rich crown, kiss the stone, those your gems and gold.
It worked, okay. He spent a great deal of time with Durin, so I imagine he knows the mines relatively well and how to move around. I just don't think this is a good look for him to be prying. Okay. Maybe I was wrong and it wasn't the Arkenstone. Ah, it's Mithril.
Oh, yes! Durin, time to spy on me,
It
elf!
certainly looks that way.
What is this place?
You want it for yourself.
Durin, what?
Yeah, I think it's Mithril. I'm guessing.
I care nothing for whatever is in that chamber.
You don't care
I
yet.
do care for you. For this
If
friendship.
you cared, you wouldn't be snooping around.
Hunter Mountain, you'll never breathe so much as a whisper of what I'm about to tell you to another living soul.
That's a fair request. We'll never forget.
I swear on the memory of my father.
Alright.
Earendio the Mariner.
Swearing on his father's memory, so we know he's serious, but I get the
Everything you
impression
tell me here will
something's
end
gonna happen and he's gonna have to break his word. Yeah. Definitely Mithril.
What do you call this miracle orb?
In our tongue, grey glitter. In yours, something like me proud.
No, it would be
Something
Mithril.
alluring about it. It's interesting. You know, it kind of speaks to the way his friend was talking about the artifact that Morgoth stared into, admiring its beauty and whatnot, and in the same way that people look at things like the ring, but I don't think that's made from Mithril, is it? I'm not sure.
Has it ever occurred to you that you're not battling trolls or orcs, but men?
Are you really about to advise me?
You seem to need some advice, to be fair.
I wouldn't dare. But then,
Well, you're in the cell because of your arrogance, to be honest. Insults her
I asked her to fight.
and her authority.
But that wasn't what provoked her anger, was it?
I demanded to speak with her father. The king in the tower, who no one has seen in years.
You're behaving like one. You're just...
salutations,
Oh.
The Queen Regent has rendered her decision.
Okay.
You are to be shipped back to the Elves under armed escort tonight.
I'm not sure why they didn't just do that in the first place, because she seems to want to leave. You don't even need the escorts. Just give her a ship. Send her on her way.
I wouldn't advise
How is this
that.
going to help your cause?
It could. If you knew exactly where she was
Why is he
going.
helping him? Albrand seems to be playing both sides. How did she get up that high? I know she's an elf, but come on.
Apologies, Your Majesty, for the intrusion. But
He no longer answers to me.
Yeah, it's one bad decision after another, Galadriel. Yeah. This is what you wanted. It wasn't your business to know. See, the things on her headdress that obscure her ears, I just get the feeling that perhaps she's part elf, especially considering her father's love for the elves. Just perhaps her mother was an elf. Could be wrong, but
Much was lost.
yeah. Even if she wanted to help, I don't think the
Chosen to rule
people would be
his
so
stead.
willing.
With a promise to quell the storm.
Oh, you've seen this before?
7 seeing stones there once were. The other 6 either lost.
That's where she saw the vision, you know, of Numenor being destroyed.
But you have not touched this one.
Yeah, yeah. The prophecy. And I'm guessing the fact that they freaked out about the elf arriving on the island is because she did see her arrival, and then the place, you know, Numenor got destroyed, maybe?
It is Numenor's future you saw. Talented, you show many visions. Some that will never come to pass that has already come to
Yeah,
pass.
your arrival.
Vision begins
Yeah,
with your
yeah.
arrival.
That's why she was so concerned about this elf. Would you stop?
That is why tomorrow I will announce that you are gone. And this crisis ended.
Yes, but you cannot expect her to make that decision on your word alone. Yeah, she has a kingdom to run. She can't just say, hey, pick up arms, let's go to war, because this elf said so. Oh, okay, still down there. I mean, smart. It's probably best to wait until, you know, sunrise. But he probably has a few hours to go. Don't leave. Uh-oh. It's gonna be a close call. Should have stayed hidden, kid. Yeah, we're definitely playing a video game here. He's gonna run into some tall grass and no one will be able to see him. Man, I love this. I so wished they'd given. I know I keep bringing it up, but I wish they'd given, you know, the Witcher treatment a similar aesthetic as this. He's gonna get caught. Yeah, yeah. You know, just moments like this where there's nothing huge happening on the screen, but just watching him go through the village with them searching for him, it's just really well done. His mom? Is it his mom? Oh, okay. Alright, they sent him back to the tower. Well, it's an elf saving you, even though you hit them. Oh, okay. They're following. A lot of them. Oh, saved him. Ah, that's wicked. I don't know what the message is that he gave him to deliver. You're gonna need a lot more arrows. I don't know. The problem is the kid. Oh, okay. Mom's here. I get a feeling he's gonna get his mom killed eventually because of that sword, because he still has it. He hasn't told them that he knows now that that's what they're looking for. It's the sword. He hasn't told anyone, and now he's going to take that sword back to the tower and get everyone there killed. All right. It's light out, so it's near sunrise, so they should be okay. Yeah, okay. Alright, I think they're good. I wouldn't just stand there, you know. They do have arrows, you know. They could kill you from a distance, so keep moving. Ah, so where's Durin?
If you'd not gone down,
He did run in, right?
Durin might have been in that shaft when it.
But it's understandable, you know.
I'm sorry.
It wasn't your secret to give.
You were faithful to my friend.
Okay.
I just pulled out the last one.
Alive?
Alive.
Oh, okay.
All of them alive.
Your father must be so relieved.
He shut it down.
Oh, okay.
In time. Even the hottest coals eventually cool.
Well, sometimes I wish they wouldn't.
Hmm.
Sometimes I wish I could tell him exactly
Oh,
what I
is this
think of it.
like the effects of the mithril on him? It does seem to have strange properties and effects on the people
My
who,
father
you know,
single-handedly
hold
sailed
it.
to Balin and convinced the Valar to join the war and vanquish Morgoth.
Yeah, this is very much an episode about sons and their fathers. You know, we had it with Isildur, the Queen's advisor and his son, Durin and his father, and Elrond and his father. Yeah. Yeah, be grateful that you have your father here to be either proud or disappointed in you. You know, you still get to find out.
Disappointed.
But not everyone does.
The countless ways I'd failed to live up to it. But then, one night it struck me that I would be only too happy to hear any judgment. So long as it granted me the opportunity to have but one more conversation with my father.
Yours is still here. Good talk. That was a lovely scene.
Elrond, I was hopeful you might be able to settle something. How is it that you and my husband met?
I do want to know that.
Saved him from a hill troll.
Two of them. Yes, I know.
Is that true?
There were 3 trolls, and it was I who saved them.
You wouldn't remember your face if you were gazing in a mirror.
When I came upon him in the forest, he was in the midst of dodging their mallet blows, wailing and screaming.
I would want to see that. I would love to see that. If his father told him not to mine in that location and he did it anyway.
When a new dwarf king is crowned, the voices of all his forebears flow into him, sharing with him their counsel, their wisdom.
Is this going to be a proud moment, or is this going to be a disappointed moment?
You need not wait for that day to hear my voice.
Which is it?
Forever.
Oh,
am
okay.
I with you, my son.
Proud moment. Ah.
Elrond has invited me to go with him to Lindon tomorrow. Shall I accept?
Yeah, that doesn't mean that they don't have ill intent. Just
There is something more at work.
and you're right.
Good, my son. Good. Go to Lindon.
That was a great scene. I've enjoyed all the scenes with I've enjoyed everything so far, but the scenes especially with the elves and the dwarves, or specifically Elrond and the dwarves.
Your people may live if you forsake all claim to these lands and swear fealty to him.
Oh. I mean, they did once before, or at least their ancestors did. I don't know how much longer they're gonna be surviving here with very little rations and no help. But I mean, Arondir should be able to send word back to the Elven King, right? Just to get reinforcements. You just have to leave them, and he probably won't want to do that. This kid still brought it with him.
After what you done, you'll take it. Just like you took that hilt.
Oh, that was from his cellar. I didn't realize. They mentioned the name of the person, but I didn't. He's used the blade, so he's sworn fealty to Sauron. I didn't remember his name, so I didn't draw the connection when the kid mentioned it. And it's a good misdirect, because at the very beginning in episode 1, he seemed so nice to Arondir. But then as soon as he heard the elves, left, his tone completely shifted. Yeah. You're one of us.
You need it for what's coming.
Damn. I kind of liked him at the very beginning, too. Alright, time to see her off. And I'm in full agreement with the Queen. Like, I understand and it's not great. Most people don't care about what's happening in other countries unless it directly impacts them, and it's kind of a similar thing here. It's that, okay, the Southlands are being destroyed, but it's not our problem, and they don't act until it becomes their problem. In those instances, I completely disagree. I think you should help where you can, but in this case, the problem is that Galadriel has no proof. She's purely suggesting that they act on her word only, and that's my concern. And I fully think, if the Queen felt certain that, her people needed to fight, that she would. No, she's on her way. It's coming to pass. Is it happening because she sent her away? And prophecies are just so goddamn ridiculous. I think this was gonna happen whether she aided her or not. Yeah, she's gonna help, I think.
Living reminder that there are.
But how do you convince these people to go along with this? Considering the very start of the episode where the people were very much anti-elf, I don't see how they'll react to this well.
I myself would not face. So I've decided to
Yes, her ears are always neatly hidden. She has to be an elf, guys. I refuse to believe she's not an elf. Oh, they're going with an army. Okay, interesting.
Expeditionary force will be made up of brave sons and daughters from across the land. Who is willing to commit themselves to our Queen
Isildur's like, yeah. I volunteer. Oh, not a lot of hands.
I will serve.
Been expelled. There's not much else they can do. It just sucks that they're being forced into this because of Isildur.
I will serve.
Did not want to hear that name. But it's either go to war or face the wrath of your father for getting expelled, you know? I hope she's making the right choice. Alright, there we have it. Episode 4 of the Rings of Power. Let's talk about Galadriel for a bit because, you know, I think it was Halbrand who said it. And I spoke a bit about it back in the very first episode where I think he said, you know, if she wants to go after the orcs, that's fine, but don't dress it up as heroism. And I feel as though that's what she does in every conversation. Is she tries to make it about, you know, saving the people and eradicating evil when it's purely about vengeance. And I fully expect, as we accompany her on her journey, that it will change from vengeance to the greater good. But as it is right now, she's asking people to take her at her word that she knows what's right, and, you know, basically disrupt an entire, you know, country here to go to war on her say so. And I do wonder whether it's something that they're ever going to address. She's been called on it for sure, you know. She's been called out on it, but will it ever? I'm just curious to see when she comes to that realization. And it's not just something that I equate with Galadriel. I think it's something that the elves portray. Because and I mentioned that in episode 1, where I think in most, if not all, fantasy where elves are portrayed, they are seen as somehow elevated above humans and whatever other races that are there. And I do wonder whether this series will explore the fact that they can be just as flawed as everyone else. You know, they are given to corruption, you know, and perhaps that is what we're witnessing, you know, with Adar that we saw here. And, you know, the idea that these elves perhaps become orcs themselves. And so it kind of, I do wonder whether that's what we're getting. I would love if that's the case, because I do think where the elves are concerned, you know, they do need to, you know, take a step back and, you know, just look at how they're being perceived and their relationships with the other races. And, you know, they seem to have a better relationship with everyone. And at a certain point, you have to realize that it's not them, it's you, you know, sort of thing. But they can be impulsive, as we see with Galadriel. They do lie and you know, misdirect, which you do see Elrond do. I think he still has good intentions, but his reason for coming back to the mines wasn't to see his friend; it was to get help to build the forge, you know. So he wasn't being completely honest with Durin. And of course, they do give in to corruption in the same way that a man can give in to corruption as well. So I do like the idea that we're exploring a bit of that. In that, you know, elves aren't perfectionists; they are every bit as flawed as men can be as well. So that I consider to be quite fascinating, and I'm curious to see how that unfolds. Of course, Isildur ruined his career and his friend's career. Unfortunately, they have no choice now but to you know, enlist. I think we'll probably be following their relationship for a bit, since all three of them are now going, and maybe they'll be able to repair that relationship somewhat. I do see it ending in tragedy for his friends, unfortunately, but I am curious to see the story. No Harfoots this episode. No Harfoots. We didn't see Nori, Poppy, or the Stranger, or any of that. So hopefully we go back to them in the next episode to see where they arrive at. Arondir, yeah, he was sent back to deliver a message to the villages that if they swear fealty to Adar, then, you know, I guess they'll be spared. And we do know that they did that in the past before. And this barkeep, unfortunately, who I liked at the very beginning, because, you know, when that kid was gonna swing at Arndir, he stepped in and, you know, he was gonna hit the kid. And Arndir stopped him, but I thought he was a good person, but it seems he's sworn fealty to, you know, to Sauron or Morgoth, and, you know, he had the weapon hid beneath, you know, in beneath his home, and I don't know what to think of the kid. You know, he's making a lot of wrong decisions. He's clearly enchanted by the sword at this point, but. Yeah, we'll see, man. We'll see. I know he wants to protect his mom. He hates elves, but he was just saved by Arndir, so I don't know, maybe, hopefully, something changes within him. But the fact of the matter is, they now know that he has the hilt and they know where it is, so it's not going to end very well for the people who are currently at the tower. I do think they need to get word back to the Elven King, but Arndir would need to perhaps leave these people, or, you know, find some way, because he's the only one left, and that needs to take a message back so that they can prepare themselves for what's to come. But yeah, this episode definitely moved things rather quickly. Where the Queen Regent is concerned, I am very much in her camp. I'm not sure. I'm surprised that at the very end here that people were willing to go, you know, were willing to travel with the elf, considering when we opened the episode, it was very much an anti-elf sentiment, you know. So it was a quick shift, but then again, you know, perhaps they do have some reverence for the queen and her advisor, who we've seen, you know, he has a good rapport with the people and, you know, good relationships with them, and that definitely helps, you know. But I was definitely with the queen initially in that, yeah, I can't just go to war on your say so, and it still very much feels like she's apprehensive about going, but with the signs that she's seeing, she feels as though, you know, she must do something, if not intervening may result in the destruction of Numenor. So it's not an enviable position to be in, but I very much understood, you know, why she made the decisions that she's chosen up until this point. I still very much believe that she's an elf. I just feel as though in every angle there's an intention to hide her ears, and so I do feel as though her father, her mother was an elf, and so she's probably half elf or something to that effect. No, nothing else is supported beyond just the fact that, you know, the headdress and everything that she's always worn. There's not been a single shot where you can actually see her ears clearly, I don't think. So I do get the suspicion that she is. But yeah, that was another great episode. I absolutely loved it. I'm loving the journey of this so far. Hopefully return to the Harfoots in the next episode, because I do miss them dearly. But yeah, another fantastic episode of the Rings of Power. Be sure to post down below what your thoughts are on this episode. Remember to hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you for the next one.